Hello everybody, Jeff Coody with Chester Paul. This week's vendor spotlight is with Flexcon. The brand is Flexwave and they're one of our key suppliers, and I'd like to introduce you today to Kevin Hamm.
Hi,
Kevin,
Jeff.
How are you?
Hi, I'm well, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, the company, and your product?
Absolutely. Our company started in 1932. Emerson Swan, based in Boston, Massachusetts. They're basically a manufacturer's rep organization that deals with hydronics up and down the eastern seaboard.
Okay.
They needed a pressure tank for their hydronic applications. Started manufacturing them in 1989, so we're 30 years old this year.
Okay.
We are still owned by the Emerson Swan Group. We are actually the third generation privately held organization.
Oh, very similar to Chester Paul.
Absolutely.
Kevin, and these products are manufactured in the U.S., is that correct?
That's correct. Just a little town just south of Boston.
Oh, excellent. Why don't you take a few moments and explain to us what's different about your tanks and what makes them better than some of the competition out there?
Absolutely. Well, steel is where it all began back in the day, and most steel manufacturers actually they stamp a dome. Okay. They then take the diaphragm assembly, drop it into the bottom side of that dome, then they take a second dome and weld it to the top. If you need to expand that tank and make it larger in the same diameter, you just stack another dome on top of that. Disadvantages in that system are you've got this diaphragm assembly inside that rubs on the side of the tank, and as you add airhead, that expands further. So you're stretching that diaphragm assembly. We decided to come at it a little different way and make a diaphragm assembly that's not connected to the sidewall of the tank at all. So you get less condensation, you get less wear. It just makes for a longer lasting product.
So you're not going to have a puddle at the bottom of your tank?
Absolutely. So you get a mechanical room, it's a much cleaner application because you've eliminated all that condensation.
Excellent. Correct me if I'm wrong, unlike the competition, you actually offer your tanks in two different types of materials?
We do. Steel is our flagship, and that's where we started.
Okay.
About 7 years ago, we began manufacturing the composite tanks.
Oh, okay. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the product and some of the features and benefits?
So we talked about the stacking the domes in the other tanks. We actually use a four-part manufacturing. We manufacture the end domes and the sidewall and the diaphragm assembly. And then we assemble all of that around the diaphragm assembly. That allows us to put that diaphragm inside and not be attached to the sidewall. We actually make the composite tanks exactly the same way.
Okay.
Unlike our competition that uses a bag inside their tank, we use the same diaphragm assembly in both tanks. That gives us the same durability that we've known since 1989 with this product.
Okay.
Composite tanks are half the weight of the steel tanks. They don't rust, they don't corrode, much easier to move around, and the advantages there are obvious when you get into a mechanical room, particularly if you have a system in the area that's got salt or chemicals in the environment.
Right.
The composite holds up a lot longer.
Non-corrosive.
Correct.
Right.
The other thing we did when we developed the Flexwave line, which is what Chester Paul distributes for us in the water treatment line, is we oversized the diaphragm. We're the only company that can do that because we build the tank around the diaphragm. Now, what good does that do? Water systems industry typically uses about a third of the pressure tank because you're using a higher precharge. Water treatment industry, we want as much water that's treated in that small space as we can get. Right. So what we do is we put a larger diaphragm in a smaller tank. So now, when you drop the precharge, you put more water in, you're not overstretching that diaphragm. So the Flexwave line was designed specifically for the water treatment industry for high capacity storage of polished or treated water.
Thanks for coming in, Kevin. I appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Thanks for having us.
So to wrap up, if you're in the market for a US-made, high-quality tank in either metal or composite, visit us at chesterpaul.com or give us a call. Thank you so much for your time.